Um, Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's class. So, today we are going to pick up from where we left. We looked at the introduction to literature, how literature is defined by various scholars. So, today is yet another interesting topic where we are going to look at one genre of literature, which are folktales. So folktales are basically can be defined as stories, but mainly they are traditional stories that are passed down through generations. So they are passed down through generations because these stories they reflect the culture, values, and beliefs of a particular society or community. So these values, traditions, and beliefs define the various communities. That is why, in short, we are saying that folktales help in preserving these cultural norms and beliefs. So that is what a folktale is. Then, what are some of the characteristics of folktales? So we are going to dive deep into the characteristics of folktales so that we can easily recognize them. Now, number one, I think we have about four major characteristics. So the first one is that they are in the form of oral traditions, meaning that they are passed down through word of mouth. So mainly in a community setup, you find that children are gathered, and then an elderly person is trying to educate them about a very sensitive or important topic in the community. So number one, they are passed down through oral traditions. Then number two, they are anonymous authors. In many instances, you find that, not in many instances, I think in all instances, you find that the names of the authors of the ones who came up with these folktales are not known. They are anonymous. So that's the beauty of folktales, and they are not actually written down. You see, they are already passed down to another. So it's very difficult to identify who really came up with this story or that story and things like that. Okay, so the community then becomes a larger or the motherboard or board of these oral traditions. That's why they have to be preserved at all costs. Then the third characteristics of folktales is that these folktales have variations. So variations means that they can change. They often change time after time. They don't remain the same because also community is diverse. It does not just change. Apart from that, we are able to identify, I think we nail it down to the last characteristics, which is that folktales aim at teaching a moral lesson. Okay, so many folktales actually they teach valuable life lessons. The main goal or the punchline of a folktale is to educate and teach a moral lesson that is going to build a generation to come. Then there are different types of folktales, of course. Okay, so we can also look at and try to understand the folktales in their different types. So we have fairy tales. Fairy tales are usually magical stories with happy endings, of course. One good example I would give you is Cinderella story. Okay, that is number one. Number two, we have fables. Fables are stories with moral lessons featuring animals. These animals they carry the characteristics of human being. They talk, they eat, they live in houses, and they behave like human. Okay, they teach a moral lesson. Then we have legends. Legends are stories based on historical figures or events. For example, we can look at, for instance, in Zambia, Dr. David Kaunda, the first president of Zambia, who fought very hard for the independence of our country. So then apart from legends, we also have myths. Myths, these are stories explaining the natural phenomena, okay? The how things came to be, the natural surrounding, how life came into existence and things like that. So basically, today we have looked at the what a folktale is. Then we have dived into the characteristics of folktales, and then we have also looked at the types of folktales that there is. But then, what we need also to understand why folktales are very important. The importance of folktales is that one, they preserve our culture. They preserve cultural cultural values and beliefs of a community. Apart from that, they morally educate. They what we can say, they push away the moral decay of communities. Okay, so folktales help in improving the morality of a community, the do's and the don'ts of a community. Then the last one would be for entertainment. Okay, through various forms. For instance, you can be entertained with a song. You can be entertained with a poem and many other forms of oral literature. So thank you for watching this video. I want you to subscribe and share your comments. You know, share what you know about folktales. Share what you feel you can educate me about folktales. Remember, this is an educational platform, and we want to learn what we know and what we don't know. So feel free to comment. Feel free to like, subscribe, hit the notification button so that you are up to date with every video that I'm going to be posting. Remember also that literature, in the previous lessons, we learned that literature is actually any form of written work, okay? And it comes in the form of, in different forms, but the models basically, let me not go into that lesson again. I just want you to like, subscribe, and comment. Okay, see you in the next lesson.